Hi, Nomad.
4, 3,
You're going. You're live.
2,
I am live.
1. And welcome everybody to ULPLM, Universal Life, Pure Love Ministries. We have with us beautiful Ray Rhodes. She is a child advocate, and we're going to talk and get to know her a little bit better. And I'm excited. So Ray, tell us a little bit about you and our topic, I guess.
So, a little bit about me. That'll give you. So, as a person, a very broken person. I went to every night.
Oh.
Cut now a little bit.
Yeah, we're having a little issue with our sound. Hang on one second here, honey. Just before you return it, check out our sound, make sure we're good, and we're going to be able to do this. Because I want to make sure we're good. Sorry, Ray.
No problem.
See how it's very broken. See, and it's not giving us bits and pieces of it. Should we go Facebook? Yes, I'd really like this to be good.
Facebook Live is fine with me, whatever you guys want to do.
I'm doing okay. Are you hearing me fine right now?
I'm hearing you fine right now, yeah.
Okay, let's just go for it.
You're actually doing really good too now. Okay. My bad. Sorry. I over worry.
I'm going to share, so I'll be quiet for a minute.
Okay. As you were saying, my love, sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. So I was broken in a million different ways. I could not figure out which way was up and down, why things never went the right way. And I was constantly lonely, like the kind of lonely that aches, not, oh, you know, I want some company today. It was, if I didn't have company, I wasn't okay.
Right.
And at some point, this wonderful program came into my life called dialectical behavioral therapy. And when people hear the word therapy, they naturally think mental health. Well, you know, that is a really mainstream thought. And there's more and more not mainstream people. And dialectical behavioral therapy's main premise is mindfulness, you know, like as in the beginning of spiritualism. And that was a really huge breakthrough for me because it was like, okay, I know I'm smart. I know I have a future. I know there's a purpose. I know that I'm a kind person. Why is my life so awful? And then at some point during this program, it just kind of clicked. You know, my life is awful because I feel like it's awful. And I walk around with this chip on my shoulder because my life is awful. And I decided that day, it was one day, I was sitting on my couch by myself. Everybody was gone. And it was just a thing where I one day decided, you know what? I'm going to find a reason for today to be glorious. And then I did.
There you go.
Right? And I did the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. And things just kind of started to fall together. And then I met this community. And keep in mind, I'm fast forwarding a little bit so that we're not here for 6 hours.
No problem.
And then I found this community and enlightenment as it goes for, you know, us normal folk.
Yep.
Meaning not Gandhi and not Buddha, not the Dalai Lama type enlightenment, but just moving through it, learning about it, remembering things, you know, all of this stuff started with therapy and just realizing that I was unhappy with me, and that's why I was unhappy, period.
Right.
And what that pertains to is my purpose here in the world is to fight trauma, because that program that I got into, DBT therapy, is the direct result of being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And that is a disorder that it's similar to PTSD. It's trauma.
Right.
It's trauma caused. So over and over and over, trauma breaks you a little bit, just like it does a soldier in war. You know what I mean? Do different kinds of trauma do different things to different people because everybody has their own personal strengths and weaknesses, right? Well,
all is mind.
So I ended up being just devastated in life. And then I found this program, and then I found this community, and I found my purpose in the world. And now I'm starting a program with the government of Oregon based around being empathetic and kind to people. We're born with one emotion that we are born with. One. And that only emotion is fear. And what are the two biggest emotions known to man? Fear and love. So how do you fight one?
Yep.
How do you fight fear? You fight it with love. So my purpose here in life is to make this program work. And this program is called A Parent's Voice. And A Parent's Voice is geared to help parents through the child welfare system. When you get your family taken away, you're devastated or angry, one or the other.
Yes.
And
it is. I dealt with them the whole time I raised my children. So, yeah.
Yep. And they're threatening and they're abrasive.
Yeah, it tends to hit poor families and families that can't handle it financially too.
Yeah.
So it's also interesting.
They do
injury
They pick
sometimes.
their battle.
You're getting involved. Told me about what you're doing, which is
they definitely pick their battles. Now, the battle that I've chosen to fight with them is not a monetary one, and it's not one for my own personal gain. It's for everybody else. And what's really frustrating is if you really studied the agency itself nationwide, you would see that the caseworkers go through almost as much trauma as the families do. They do. I'm sorry. When you're in charge of 30, when you're in charge of 35 families with multiple children, and you're supposed to be their solution and deciding factor, there's not enough of you to go everywhere you think you need to be. And that I could put myself in that position very easily. I've tried a whole bunch of times. And when I put myself there, the only thing I feel is fear. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I this? What if I that? Well, okay, so we can't expect an agency that is geared to be logical and factual and evidence-based to an empathetic, super loving agency. So how do we remedy that? Because the reason we don't get families to engage is because we ignore the entire other half of who they are. You cannot just throw out all emotion from a person's life and be like, I don't care that you're devastated. I need to see you centered. No, man, devastation is what the agency, instills. It's a punitive system. So, do this or this. That's fear. The or this part, that's the fear. Yeah. So how do we combat fear?
Exactly.
With love, right? So the entire premise is to put somebody like me in the middle of the two. And this is called a wise mind chart. There's two circles that kind of look like, kind of crunched together a little bit. All right. One circle is called the logical mind. The other circle is called the emotional mind. And when you push them together a little bit, you get a little bit that overlaps right there in the middle. That's called the wise mind.
That's the truth.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where everybody wants to be. That's where we all strive to be. That's what being centered is. The perfect mixture of logical and wise mind, the perfect one.
Yep.
Well, we've got families that are nothing but emotional and incapable of making sound executive decisions. And we've got an agency that is geared to be nothing but logical. So what do? We put a middle piece in there that is capable of speaking both languages. And you can adhere to the families as well as help the caseworker understand the families. And in doing something like that, we're going to cut down open case time, and we're going to shorten foster care stays for children, and we're going to get families back together better than we found them. And that's the entire point. But the thing is, the system, they'll be focused on fixing one problem, and they'll forget that they're damaging somebody in a million different ways. You know?
Yes, exactly.
And it's not a lot.
No, we froze up a little bit.
Lost you for a minute.
I'm hoping what you're saying is it's not logical, because you're right. They tend to cause more damage when they're trying to fix the issue.
The thing is that it's a job.
There we go.
No matter what.
Yeah. Yep.
So when we're overworked,
you're definitely taking on a big job.
There's too much.
We need strong people like yourself.
Are you there?
I'm back. Are you back? First half a second you cut out, but you're back.
I can't hear y'all.
Shoot. Oh no.
I'll be right
back. You can't hear us?
There you go.
All right,
good
come
idea.
Right back. Good idea. Because we're here.
And I'll just keep talking. I think we need good, strong people that can handle that, being that in between, because the system really works one way, whereas the idea is kind of entirely something else. And so finding that middle ground, especially for people that are working in there and have to be within that box, it can be quite difficult. So,
and putting these people in positions like Ray, that we can actually use, the heart is instilled, is infused into that system, which none of our governmental structures or systems there's no heart in them whatsoever. That's the problem. And I'm glad that you're actually doing something like this. We need this.
Yes, we do.
Well, see, and what's sad is the ones that suffer more than anybody else, the ones that hurt more than anybody are the ones that have to go through it, I mean, and that's common sense, right? But what we don't really know is what happens, what the agency doesn't understand is what happens when they walk out of the room. When they walk out of the room and that person is left with nothing but their own feelings and their own thoughts, and all their thoughts are down on themselves, and the agency has no idea how to combat that. And they try really hard. I've seen them try. I've personally witnessed them try new things. But regardless of how many times they try, we're still at a point to where there is a little bit of confusion. And as somebody that literally walks around and feels what other people feel.
Well, see here, I think part of that problem is as high up as it goes. Sorry. You can finish. I'm sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you. I just feel like it's really difficult for a lot of those that and work actually within the system to help, because I myself have actually had them bribe my children for stories that matched what they were trying to reach. You know what I mean? I spent literally many moons dealing with these people, and I could see the good and the heart in there, but I could also see that pressure.
But see,
when you're that
also
person
what I'm
that's in that box trying to make the difference, it can be very, very difficult So that
Oh, no.
middleman, that
Fully
you
agreed.
person is very important.
Well, see, that's part of the middleman's position in my mind. We're part of what I'm trying to work against right now is the wolves in sheepskin, because being a wolf in sheepskin in that particular environment, you know, winning over someone, you're not winning anything. All you're doing is
Right.
is telling somebody that they're never going to be able to be happy and whole again. And that is not something that I'm willing to accept. You know, I've seen people's hair fall out. Literally. I've seen people come into the, you know, being 150 pounds 1 month and then 2 months later seeing them being 98 pounds, you know? And that's not, and that goes for caseworkers too. It's not just the parents and it's not just the kids that suffer. The caseworkers are overworked. And like you said, there are the good ones in there, and then there are the ones that are angry about all of it. Well, it's not helping anybody. So we're you know, the definition of insanity is repeating the same action and expecting a different result. Well, I refuse to be insane. And I refuse to allow anybody else to make the same
That's
mistake.
right.
I refuse to let anybody else make the same mistakes at the expense of somebody's forever. You know, could you imagine being a kid and loving your family and being told that you never get to go home ever? Ever. And you don't ever even get to talk to your mom again or your dad, and you never get to see your grandparents again, and you never get to do this and you never get to do that
Actually
because you're being
that
adopted.
feeling. I mean, my siblings were in that positions.
Yeah. See, those are very ugly pieces of reality.
Your mom just wasn't good enough, so we're gonna put you over here now.
And you both dealt with this, right, Ray? You've dealt with this as well, right? On a personal level.
Yes, I have. Where did you know, that's where I got the fight for it. You know, and see something else, somebody very smart last night somebody very wise.
I think many of us that watch this have dealt with this, because there are times when it's mismanaged, and there, you know, I found. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is that somebody very wise last night said something to me.
So we're cutting each other off.
Yeah, apologies.
We stink. No, just kidding. So somebody very wise last night said something to me, and it was like, kapow.
Oh yeah?
Light bulb.
What was that?
Well, what he said doesn't really make a difference, but the point that was grasped was, check it out. All those bad things that happened to you, all those bad things that happened to me, God had a hand in on that. And I was angry with God the whole time. And it wasn't until a couple of months ago that I grasped that God allowed me to go through that so that I could become this. And then last night, somebody gave me the realization that it wasn't just God that had a hand in on that. Because if you really think that, you know, the negative forces that exist didn't really want to see me fail, so they made it harder, you know, then you're wrong. But they both serve.
Oh no.
Somebody's eye.
Folks, sorry about that. You cut off there for a second. Can you? I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, I said between good and evil, they created what I am right now. And for the first time in my whole life, about the last year, I actually love myself, and I love who I am. And I get to wake up in the morning and I get to be happy to look in the mirror. And I have a reason.
Yep.
You know? And so
we lost her for a minute.
She'll be back, guys.
Sounds like she had an epiphany.
It does. I love
good.
those epiphanies.
Those are always nice.
And they always, they're amazing, right, guys?
And everybody out there, please share if you could, anywhere, share everywhere pertinent, or, people, you feel like people will receive this well. Invite your friends as well. It's an important topic.
It really is. Hello, Jessica. We're not doing readings this evening, but I hope that you are getting something out of the conversation. I don't know if
just having a little bit of problem. We're actually
some
not
technical
doing too
difficulties.
Well. I mean, we're doing okay, I think, actually.
I hope so. There's no one actually
Love you
watching
too, Tammy. There she is.
Right now, so.
All right, let's see here.
Okay, I'm back now.
She's back.
There we go.
Anyway,
Yep, I'm just going to take a second. She'll be right back.
There was a perfect synergy between good and evil that made me what I am right now. And I need to be thankful for that. And I told the agency that I was thankful for every single bad day. Every single bad day,
for those
every single broken moment.
About child advocacy. Sorry, Ray. I'm just answering somebody in the call.
No, go for it.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it. No, that's okay. I told them I was thankful for every single bad day, every bad moment, every tear I shed, all of that, because between God and whatever forces that worked on the project of Ray and the agency not making things amazingly easy for me, I get to be me. And
that's right.
Being me is kind of an honor,
Right?
Yes, it is.
It's an honor to be me. I love being me.
I was just saying that today. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for everything. And that's the whole thing we're talking about, really, is being on the night or on the day shift, and you have to deal with what the night shift left you, right? That's kind of the way I think about it, is what you're doing is trying to infuse that love, passion for one another, and not just for the job, but to actually instill some actual agency. I think that's beautiful, because like I was saying about the night shift and day shift thing, we want to leave a place and create a better environment, so that creates a better environment for the families they deal with, and that they have to, step in, because yes, there are, for this child advocacy, we do need to protect our children, but these can overstep, and that's what we're talking about. And that's why we.
Well, let's see. I don't even see it. I don't even see it. I don't even see it as overstepping. I see it as a literal. I see it as a literal misunderstanding.
I'd learned this doing podcasts. You always got to be talking. No dead air. No dead air. Just keep going. Just talk.
Bad about that.
I see their invasive. They're being too invasive or too being harsh. I see that more along the lines of a defense mechanism out of fear of making the wrong decision. And
and that's the thing. It can be a misunderstanding, but the way that things work.
Yeah, but that's not the only end of it that I have there. It's not just a misunderstanding, and it's not just out of fear. It's not knowing how to handle broken people. Right. If you don't know how to handle broken people, you're not going to help heal them. And that
you got me smoking on camera, girl. Shit, it's all your fault.
Sorry. You're welcome.
What's that?
I said I'm sorry.
It's not just out of fear.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
there is far too much
Right.
beauty in those people for all of them to be, just wrong. See,
You're good, no problem.
No apologies, girl.
I was just teasing you.
The system needs updating. And that's what I'm working on. It's not that I think they're bad people, because I don't. Some of them are wolves in sheepskin and they don't need to be there. Absolutely. They would be better suited for like an attorney's job, maybe a criminal prosecutor, but realistically speaking, they're people. They're people just like the people that are, being brought into the system. And people make mistakes. And it's unfortunate when they make mistakes, because lives are affected forever sometimes. But they're not.
Do they in that business, in that line of work?
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah.
I would love to say that I can hear you.
Right.
I can't.
I totally agree. That's like I said,
Well, it's like any other thing. No matter what you're doing, whatever line of work you're in, part of it.
Yes.
There is always a correction. And I think these things are the things you can do, like you're doing, to counter corruption. Right? That's in a way against corruption is a system or upgrade or better way of doing.
Well, see, the thing is that one way or another, old habits die hard. Old habits die hard,
There, Dennis.
I'm not sure if it's me that's skipping or you that's skipping.
God forgives. The same as our.
Probably
I'm glad
both,
we all
probably a little bit of both.
Humor.
But it'll be beautiful.
It should work out some of it. Yes.
Oh, that's good. No.
Let me see.
No.
Probably get some comments.
So
let's see what's there.
So what I'm wanting to do is just really reform lives. Take those broken people and show them a better way. Because there is a better way. There's light at the end of your bullshit tunnel.
That's right.
I promise.
Right. And hey, you know what?
Tunnel.
The part that I find amazing is that
tunnel has no end.
You have found kind of this system. See, for me, it was always and I'm just going to use raising my children as my example. Being totally there for them, loving them, being compassionate, but really only ever offering that love. You know what I mean? Know that they should have confidence within themselves. They can believe in themselves. I believe in them. I love them. But ultimately, to deal with your issue, you have to deal with your issues. I have no answers for you. I can love you. I can tell you that I'm sorry you feel this way. But ultimately, it is up to you to see that this person has no power over you, and there really doesn't matter to you personally.
And that is what's sad is when you've already got trauma issues, and so many of us do, whether it's diagnosed or not, when you've already got trauma issues,
right,
anything
exactly.
anything extra is huge. And something like the agency and not being trauma informed enough to understand, that's really damaging.
Right.
It's furthering an issue that you already have. And that's what I want to combat there. I don't want the agency to think they're doing it wrong. I don't even say I want to change the system anymore. I don't say that, because there are really good people that dedicate their entire lives
just planting seeds. Just planting seeds. That's all you're doing.
To making things work, in the agency. So I don't say I want to change the system anymore. I say I want to help the system progress.
Right.
I want to help the system progress.
There you go.
Because progression is society moves. Everything has to move.
That's a very politically correct way to say that.
Exactly.
Well, and it's a game of politics, you know. Dealing with a government agency, it's like playing chess. No matter whether you're a family in the system, whether you're somebody trying to break
That's
into
it.
the system,
Yep.
whether you're
Right.
somebody trying to help the system move forward, regardless of where you are on that one, it is a political game, you know, and you have to learn to speak that language. And their language is not hard to understand, or is super hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You know, it's like walking
Right.
into a courtroom and hearing all of these.
No, it's not.
Actually, it really is. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's not hard to understand. Moving their lips for years.
Back in Brenda's area.
You get to know what they're saying.
That's true. I mean, for the average person that has to deal with this or that's walking into this situation,
Yes.
their language can be
Know
very
your rights too,
manipulative.
and know your rights, people. You know, families know your rights because there are times when people overstep.
I'll get Jillian on it.
Okay.
No,
Is your puppy wandering off?
is that no matter what, his thing kills me. There's a fence, it doesn't matter. The dog will find a way out. There's no holes, but he manages to wiggle out. Go play with Marley, okay? So the thing is,
They're just
you
as
want to come out here and say hi,
I
Evie?
always know it.
Come here. Come say hi.
Hello. Say hi to everyone. There's a lot of people watching you.
There's a lot of people watching. Say hi. I'm Evie.
15. Right.
Hi,
16.
Evie.
That's not bad. New channel. New page.
It's cute. Little blondie.
Yeah, that's my only little blonde one.
Really?
I noticed that.
Two toe heads and one brunette.
Like the family looks like all Italian and
Oh
then
no.
one blondie.
Right? She's too cute though.
That's awesome. Though.
Yep. But it
Lost
runs
her
down the
again.
bloodline. If you notice when you're having children, or okay, and I'm not going to say like I'm going to say from my experience, I have noticed certain families anyway that will have a few children, and then suddenly one will come from like way back in the bloodline and have like red hair that wasn't in the family for like centuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how it's even if you can't read it, if you don't know, it's still within you.
Yeah.
All of it that we've ever experienced throughout any lifetime, throughout any realm, it's all there. It's all within us at all times, and it can come out whenever and however. And if we are focused on it, and we know it's there, and we realize it's there, we can draw it at any time.
That's right. Amen, baby.
All right. Hopefully she's going to be back with us here in just a second.
How's
Sorry,
everybody doing?
guys.
How is I know our sound's a little funky. I know it's, interview mode. So our computer's slow.
We will
Sorry.
get a new one at some point.
But we do
guys.
have some videos. The videos that we record here, they are over on YouTube at Universal Libraries. ULPLM. Yep. In the search, we don't have an address yet.
Well,
ID
PLM.
yet. We got to get more. We need more likes. So I think if we can get to like 100 likes, we get
That's
an
right.
address. So please like and share the page, or share.
Not
Check
back.
out the videos. We've got a few in there.
Here she
There
is.
she is.
Yay! I knew
Not
she'd
back.
be back.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard me talk about the nonprofit work that my kids are actually involved with too. Did you hear that?
What was that?
Did you hear about me talking about how my kids are involved with
Yeah, as we
nonprofit
were
work
saying,
as well?
Toehead. Nope, I did not.
So the kids and I
And that is awesome.
We went through this whole thing together, all of us. And Everly was a very unplanned blessing right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
So we decided as a family that we were just going to go in on this whole thing together.
Yep.
So Jillian helped me paint the next city over,
That's
Lebanon, blue. Yeah, she helped me paint the entire town blue with ribbons, with Dallas Blue Angels, which is a child abuse awareness group, led by the police station, and I get the pleasure of being a part of that. And Jillian helped put ribbons up all over the city. And then I spoke at the child abuse awareness thing that we just did. It was a walk a mile, and we raised a whole bunch of funds for the ABC House. And the ABC House director is interested in our story. And I've gotten a lot of publicity from the agency that now is giving me the honor of trying to make a difference. And, changing hearts, coming up going from the top to the bottom, it's very different than starting at the bottom and moving from the top. But it's shocking to be
yes,
to have people care
right.
what you have to say all of a sudden. But it's a huge honor. The whole fact of the matter is that loving other people through their traumas,
right.
loving other people through those hard pieces of life, because in the system,
that's awesome.
In the system, there's not a lot of, they don't really have healthy support systems or examples or anything like that. So it's our job to help create something stable. So let's start with creating a stable person.
And they never learned it growing up, and so yeah.
Right. So let's create a stable person that learns to love themselves, that, understands that not everybody is lumpable into the same category. Let's create mindful people that understand that their emotions are there for a reason, that don't hate themselves for having emotions, that have a lot less of a self-loathing.
I hope we have some therapists listening right now, please. That's right.
That don't hate themselves for having emotions.
Yeah. Well, because and that's so desperately needed. Because here's the thing with me growing up in therapy, many different, I have a story. You can go back on my pages and see. Anyway, but that was the thing with me. I think I was even traumatized one time in therapy. In one of the programs I was put in, it was my duty to go ahead and clean up after everything, right? And I walked into the counselor room, and up there on the chalkboard is Norma, family, crazy. Okay? So basically, though it was, internally in my thought process, that was nothing new. Well, duh. Hello. But it was also kind of traumatizing. It's like, wait a second. If you can tell that my family is having some issues, what the fuck am I still doing here? Why aren't you helping us? You know what I mean?
So
if
I had seen something like that,
language, sorry, I do get passionate when I talk about my life. Anyway, but so having that person though, that those people that can really bring the feeling back into it, as opposed to that dumping people into boxes and saying, well, this is that and that is this and this works for everybody. It really is so important.
Well, see, what nobody seems to understand. Now, if I had seen something like that, I would have had somebody's ass in a sling. If I had experienced
I'm sorry,
that,
your turn.
Currently, if I had seen something, if I had a client that came to me and said that this was on the board and so on, I would have had somebody's ass in a sling. There would have been repercussions for that particular type of cruelty in my mind. Nobody is crazy and nobody is a lost cause. Okay, nobody. Either they're gonna get to a healthy point in time, or they're not. And because like the agency, it's not a, you can go back and try again. No, man, if your parental rights are stripped, they're done.
Yeah.
So
and
I want to,
exactly.
And I want to prevent that. But, things like what you experienced there, that can set someone back months.
It can.
There goes
it really can.
all of the family engagement that you worked for because you were neglectful and you were cruel in the first place. It is not, I don't care whether you think so-and-so is insane. I don't care if their mental health diagnosis states in words, so-and-so is crazy. You do not openly state that to somebody, and you certainly don't leave it negligently where someone can find it. That is cruel.
Exactly, right? Right? But see, and that's the whole thing, is I get to look back on it from both my dark side and from my light side, from the part that was hurt and the part that understood it, right? And so it has been kind of that curse and blessing, right? It was kind of like, whoa, wait a second. Why am I here? If my family's just crazy and you truly believe this is just going to be some pattern, why am I still here?
Because they can't terminate your rights.
Why am I here?
No. Because look, a termination of parental rights is hard to get in any state.
It is.
And you have to be doing a lot of absolutely nothing to earn one. And even if you earn one, half the time you don't ever get to see one of those trials because the judge says, no, we're not doing that yet. We're not ready for that, So it's not something that is uncommon. Terminacy hearings do happen.
Right.
But nobody really wants to see that happen. And when people throw out judgmental statements like so-and-so is crazy, they have no idea really. That's where the trauma-informed people need to come in, because I would have openly stated in the room that was written in the meeting that was written during. I would have openly stated that is a damaging statement and it's not helpful. This is not going to help anybody grow. All you're going to do is solidify someone's pain. And that's not like we're going to make it worse. It's
and
not
that's why
helpful.
I said, in a sense, there was a part of me that it did. It kind of that in for me. It said, oh, okay, well, it's like that crazy, right?
Yeah,
so,
well, they told me I was crazy
I have different
too.
perspectives at this point now. I get to look back on that but
they tell us
would you say that it has a lot to do with the training when they're letting the way that it just got.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just the system that does that. They have a lot of.
Did you hear my last question?
What was it?
Right.
I said, would you think that it was, if you were to be critical, to critique the system, which is kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, in a way.
But really, if you were to critique it, would you say that they could probably do better with a better training, with trauma training, with dealing with people, on a real level?
It's funny that you say that because they are moving towards that here in Oregon. Oregon is a very progressive state, and they're making a million different efforts to make things work in a better way. For example, they're giving me a shot to try. That's not a small action. That is a huge action. That's saying they're willing to give money to me.
You do live in a very liberal area, though. Oregon is, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
And it is very hard
That's
for me
awesome.
to.
I've never been to Oregon, but Oregon's always been pretty open-minded, a pretty open-minded state.
And it is hard for me to critique the agency because I have grown to love it. I've grown to love the agency. I have. And as weird as that sounds to people who have been in similar situations to me, I have.
Oh, I'm like on the opposite end of that.
I know, and that's okay.
Works.
I'm not begrudging you your feelings. You are allowed to have them. You know, I grew to love the agency because there
And
were
no,
a
exactly.
few.
It's beautiful though, right?
Yes, it is. It's beautiful, but there were
Well,
a
see, and
few
that's why it's
people
good that
that took the time. They took the time to show me that the agency doesn't want to be as they are perceived. They want to find something different. They want to make it work. They don't want what they're pouring their lives into to fail. They don't want to be giant mistake makers. They don't want to do that. And they're a lot of times they are somebody's solution. They save lives all the time,
the whole thing. I always say that. Even though I'm on the opposite feeling. Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. So it's hard for me.
I'm on the opposite end of the way you feel about it, which is, but at the same time, I know for a fact that there are many, many, many within it that really do want to help, pour their life's work into it. And like I said, and that's why I say it's more the system itself that I have an issue with, not the people in it, not even the circumstances and issues I was in. This is in which we're confining people in and saying, here's the limit to your job.
The generalization.
When we really do need to be able to work on a basis and feeling to feeling and human to human,
Right. And human to human, we know better than to just randomly judge people. And it's hard to randomly judge something that is run by, even things, which people do all the time, not just in the agency. So it's really hard. It's just the difference between a normal person and this is that the circumstances of the absolution are huge for anybody in the system that it doesn't go well for. The absolution is huge, and they walk around with stigmas, and we don't want that to happen anymore. And the agency doesn't want that to happen anymore. They see things that they don't appreciate about their own agency, and they work really hard to improve them. It just hasn't worked thus far, so they're trying new things, and that
so that's awesome. I see down here. Hold on, let me put up a comment here. Hold on. That Lynn Hall Andrew was she's got a couple comments. She looks like she's a little bit concerned about basically advocating services, and I believe that, but there are some cases. There are some bad cases really are unfair, and that's the problem.
There are.
Just like police officers having problems right now with their system, because there are some bad apples that screw it all up, and that's I think we do need to pay a little bit more attention, because I do know that it does. Government agency gets kind of drowned by bureaucracy sometimes. And that's,
think about it this way.
We have the problem. Somebody that's not even working in the industry or not even over any of it, but they're making decisions. I mean, would you say that happens in some cases?
I would say that politicians make a lot of the decisions for anything that is government run. And that's not anything other than a fact. That is a fact.
And we know that. Lynn, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I think that,
and you know what?
It's really not the people in the system. It's because those systems, unfortunately, there are people out there that we do need to have these types of systems, which is why they exist, right? Why we agree to them. We know that unfortunately, the problem is right now, those who are in power of them are terrible. They're nightmarish. They bribe. They put you within a box to work within, and many people with big, big, huge hearts wanting to make big, big differences have fallen into boxes and then fallen into that depression and that whole, how am I going to make a difference? Because of the pressure, which is why, like I said, we need those strong ones like Ray in there, being able to help and be willing to fight the fight, to stay within it and stay straight.
There's good people on all sides of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
then,
we got to be
here's the
careful
thing.
of the people that aren't
Really
looking out for the best interests of the
Right.
family.
Right.
And, because that's really what it comes down to. And I know plenty of cases. I know there's plenty of cases that them taking those children away is right.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yes. So that said, anybody, and I welcome it, anybody going through
this
a
is what
situation.
Lynn said. Can you read comments, Ray?
Are you
No,
seeing them up there?
I cannot. I cannot. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but I can't.
Can you hear me still?
Yes. Now you're frozen.
Oh.
Go ahead. Great. Go ahead.
That's right. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's.
He's coming back, though.
Lynn Hall Andrews says, I have had a judge paid off against me in a custody hearing. Mine for 2 years. My rights were not terminated from me for more than he should have. You're talking about, Lynn. That's a real generalization of, a person that's kind of having a little problems. I mean, I've had this is the only problem I've actually really had with that agency is my ex or my wife at the time's ex, because they had a vendetta. And then all of a sudden they, that sparks a big thing. And then when it goes from bad to somebody's made a report, and then they've put somebody on it that really feels like they need to go out and do some good.
Case.
The situation isn't half as bad as they're making it out to be. Because I watched it happen with. There were just blatant lies about her. I mean, really,
right?
Just lies. There were, and that's. I do believe there are some good people that work in that system.
Well, see, and here's the thing that I believe, get into it being good people. And I'm not going to say, they get in there being good and they turn rotten, is that the pressure that they feel with the boxes from those that are reasons can be quite pressures. Not just, when we a normal person that just has that pressure from work, okay? Let's quadruple. Okay, so here's these people with great big hearts that really just want to help these families and these pressures. Okay, now that are, oh my God, yes, red flags. And then there's certainly being therapy my whole life, I've realized, are kind of normal, average, everyday things, right? So it's about these good people being put in these confines, these boxes to work within, and they're trying to be able to work past these boxes. They're trying to get past the limits of the box because they understand they need to. But the pressures that come with that can be absolutely mind-blowing. And this is coming from a person who says, hey, FDCFS, because really, they invaded my raising my children from the time I had my oldest child until the time my youngest daughter left the house. So basically for 24 years, I had them in my life, invading my privacy, just, for really nothing, just for whatever they felt like. So, and that's a need. I'm saying people within them really do have a heart, do want to make a difference, but the pressures that they get are absolutely mind-blowing.
So can I interject here?
Would you agree with any of that, Ray?
I would agree with all of it, to be perfectly honest. And
What's going on?
here's my response to anybody that is frustrated. You know, if you have a hard time, finding the language, if you have a hard time interacting with them, that's something that I make myself open for. You know, if you need to find the words, you know, send me a message, because there is a way to communicate with them. They get into the using, you know, the terms of the agency, and then they forget that there's a human language too, you know. You know, if you are having a hard time getting through to them, if you're having a hard time navigating the situation, reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me, you know. And anybody who's dealt with trauma, with the agency, my heart goes out to you like no other, in a way that I'm willing to dedicate my life to make sure your experiences aren't relived, you know. And there are other people out there too that are dedicating their lives to making sure that your pain is not relived. And I want to help you heal from that. And there's a lot of us that want to help you heal from that. I know that not everything that is carried out within the name of the agency is a wonderful thing, you know, but we're working on it actively. I'm working on it actively. And, you know, everybody needs to heal, regardless of what it's from. Holding on to hate only hurts the hater, not the hatee. It hates the hater, especially when the hater is the big guy. So, you know, let it go.
Right.
Let it go for your own good. It hurts. I know. I've been there. It hurts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop hurting, because it was our babies, and there's nothing closer to us than our babies. So is that an
offer now? Is that an offer for people out there watching the video, if they can get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Open offer.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it takes a gentle person to understand. And it takes a mindful person to know how to be on one end and at the other at the same time. And it's something that I may not always make the best decisions at, but I can tell you right now that I will do my very darndest as a person to make it better. And there are a lot of people working really hard to make things better. You know, the thing is that when we get there, we have to heal from why we got there.
So how can they get a hold of you? Just Facebook?
Yeah, message me on Facebook. I always check my unfriended messages. I check them every day.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for being on tonight.
Yes, thank you very much.
We're running out of time, so thank you all for being here.
Yeah. I love being here. Thank you for having me. And really, I want to send everybody a whole bunch of love. You know, everybody needs love, and not a lot of us get enough of it. And I want to see everybody happy. So if you're not happy, then contact one of us, any of us. There's a lot of us out here on Facebook. There's a lot of us in your communities. We want to see you happy.
Awesome.
We want to see you succeed.
I know there are.
Don't sit there and hurt.
Out there who really are.
Don't sit there and hurt by yourself. Don't sit in a place that is ugly. Don't sit in a place where there's pain. You know, there's a lot of us out there that just want to help you feel better. So take back your power and find one of us.
Good.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Ray.
Yeah. appreciate the
Thank you for having me.
Sorry that we had a little bit of the clippiness or whatever going on, but what are you gonna do? We'll get better. Please, we are on Patreon, so check us out.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me a platform to speak about my purpose.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out where the clippiness ends and where it begins.
Yes.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
So in closing, thank you, Ray, for being here. Thank you all for being here. If you have any questions about advocacy, social work, child protective service